We're working on the photo frame door opening for our doghouse. So go on the front, and I cut me a template, just an oval shaped template. So I trace this on my chipboard 6x6 front frame chipboard piece, and then cut it out with my Tim Holtz scissors. If you have these scissors, they cut chipboard really well. And then I cut a piece of paper that's a little bit narrower than the wood, so it's 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, and then I cut out the template again, and then I drew it on there, and then I cut it out just a little bit bigger to make the opening a little bit bigger for this paper that's going to go in the front. Now I know it seems kind of silly to have papered this one because I don't think you're going to get to see any of it, but I always like to be safer than sorry, that everything's covered and I don't have something showing that I didn't want to show. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put finishing hinges around the front piece here of this frame. Now we need to cover it inside like this. So I have taken a 1-inch wide hinge and cut it down to 7 1/2. Actually, it's 7 5/8. 7 5/8. And then I marked it on each end at 2 1/8. Mark it 2 1/8 from each end. What we're going to do is take our scissors. Okay, let me think a minute here. This is going to go, we're going to cut in towards, and I went ahead and put the score tape on. So we're going to cut little V's starting from this mark point in towards the fold, but do not cut the fold. So it's going to be, still have a piece in the middle. So it's kind of like if you do any sewing where you have to cut for the corners, you know, around your seam line. Of a shark, like that. So now we're going to peel the backing off, and I did use the wider 1/2-inch score tape to go ahead and get some of it into the center. If you don't have the wide score tape, the 1/2-inch, you can use a 3/8 inch, or go ahead and use your 1/4 inch and just add some glue down the center. And then it's kind of tricky to peel the backing off these little teeth pieces. Sometimes you have to do them one at a time. Sometimes you get lucky like that and they all peel off. Okay, almost. Just a few more and we're done. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to start on one side and fit that all the way in here, and then fit these cut pieces around the curve. Don't mash them in, seal them down completely just yet. Just kind of get a feel for the measurement. It should fit right on this edge here, and then go ahead and press those down onto the curve, and then burnish both sides. Where the marks are at, we're going to make that the back side so that the marks don't show. So this is going to give you this finished edge around the curve. And then we are going to take the finishing hinges for the outer edges. And I went ahead and pre-cut these also. I have 3 that are, I cut them 6-inch. I think all 3 of them are 6-inch. So you need 3 6-inch hinges. and you're going to miter cut on the bottom of each one so that they look like a pencil, and to get them all the same I cut 2 at a time and then use one as a pattern guide. And then you need these little short ones. You cut them down to 2 inches and miter just one end. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put these on. I'm going to do the top one first. Across the top and put the point on the end. Miter that down. We'll burnish it all after I get it all on there. And we'll do the sides. So add the glue. I didn't do it on the top one. I think it'll be okay, but I really like to have glue in the center here. So I'll put the side one on and match these up. On the other side. What I did is I somehow made this too short here. I'm sanding the corners a little bit so that I can ink them. And I'm going to put some glue on the corners too, especially this one where it's short on the back side. Get that ink, that glue in there and seal that up. And then we're going to ink it. Okay, we're going to take the ink and really ink up the edges and corners. And you only have to do it on the front side. Now let's go ahead and put the paper on the front like this. And I've already inked the edges, so we're going to use glue on this. Kind of close to the edge there on the front. Scoot this over a little bit. There we go. And burnish that on good. Now for the frame pieces, we have, these are 3/4 of an inch. I have 2 that are 3/4 of an inch wide by 5 inches, and then I have one that is 6 inch by 3/8. This is the bottom piece, so we're going to attach this, peel the backing off, but before we stick it down, I'm going to lay this here and I cut a small strip of paper with the wood pattern, because this is going to show like the threshold or brace piece of wood along the bottom of the doghouse at the door. So I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, put this here. So that it's going to show, and then ink the edges of the chipboard. And then we're going to attach this to the bottom edge of this, so it looks like that. It's got the little inset there. This is where your photo is going to sit. Then from the back, we're going to attach these two on the side. And I want you to ink the edges of the chipboard. That's going to fit right in there. Now then, if you want to add a piece of plastic for your frame, this would be the time to do that. This is just cut from a packaging that I had. So I'm going to take my glossy accents, or I use 3D crystal lacquer, and I'm going to put some glue along the edge, or some of the crystal lacquer. To stick this on. You want it flat. Oops, I shouldn't put any right here on the bottom. I'm gonna have to trim that off. Don't put it on the bottom. Luckily I have a piece that's big enough, so because we don't want it to show there, we want it flat in there like that. Okay, and then I'm going to wipe off what I got on the chipboard here so it's not sticky. Okay, that's our frame piece with the plastic in it. And let's see, we check my... Okay, so now let's take our score tape. We need our 1/2 inch score tape on the wide pieces here. Okay, there's our little doghouse door, and all I need now is a photo of a dog. Okay, so I decided for now to put a picture of Quentin the cat in the doghouse. A piece of black cardstock to make it easier because the position where he was at wouldn't fit right with that, so I cut a piece of paper cardstock 5.5 inches by 4. And then I matted the photo on there so that when I slide it in, and you have to work, if you have the plastic in there, you have to work with it to get it in past that. But then I stuck him in there. So there's Quentin. He's in the doghouse. So I hope that makes him happy.